Third world wages. Remember what wages are. It is an agreed upon payment that the capitalist pays the laborer. People who live in the third world don't have much alternative to working in a shoe factory, and thus companies can pay workers very low wages and make killer profits because of the low wage rate. But they're making profits, and profits, that's a signal. That's a signal for companies all over the world to build factories in the third world to get profits. If this is allowed to happen, then tons of companies will enter the third world to exploit the cheap labor. But now you have increased competition for third world labor, which results in labor getting bid up. Think high pressure to low pressure. Capital goes from relatively over-capitalized areas to relatively under-capitalized areas, from the United States to Indonesia. And this occurs between geographic areas, but also between industries, to the extent that the capital being transferred can operate in a new industry. For example, when Sony and Microsoft moved into making video game systems, it was easier for Sony to move into video games than it would be for, say, ConAgra to move into video games. Right? Because Sony already deals with electronics, where ConAgra is dealing with agricultural stuff. And this is how a better life comes about. Humanitarian activities can make life better for some, for as long as charity keeps flowing into some area, but that is all secondary. For these areas to improve their quality of life in the long run, they must produce things that others want and exchange those resources and invest in more capital, etc., until they have as much capital per person as, one of the wealthier countries on the planet, like Mexico or Argentina, which are not poor places by global standards.